Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we are going to talk about a very important story that is developing as we speak. And if you've been anywhere near a TV or the internet or a political news site, you've probably heard about the topic that we're going to discuss, which is the Ukrainian Airlines plane, which was shot down, apparently, we're being told now, which crashed, we're not sure, a couple days ago. And we're going to dissect that briefly, as well as look at some propaganda from past interviews that I've done here. First off, though, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com, which is my home site. This is the home base for the content that you're seeing right now. And if you've got it all up to date and everything, as I told you guys in the last video, if you come over here to the TCR network, you can join, you can comment on the videos, it's our little internal social network. Follow us on Minds, follow us on DTube/Steemit. Follow us on Remind if you want to get text list updates, and if you want to join our Discord channel, lots of conversation happens there. Finally, if you don't like YouTube, you can get the videos either at BitChute or DTube, so do that. And if you want to support Patreon or Subscribestar, sign up for the email newsletter. And finally, if you want to get a free ounce of kratom and some CBD, check out My Brave Botanicals. It helps support our work. So let's get right into it. This morning, being reported by Newsweek, Iranian missile system shot down Ukraine flight, probably by mistake, sources say. This was at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central where I'm at, and we are now 4 hours since then, and this went from being first reported initially by Newsweek, now being reported elsewhere and apparently being confirmed. We're being told the Ukrainian flight that crashed just outside the Iranian capital of Tehran was struck by an anti-aircraft missile, a Pentagon official, a senior U.S. intelligence official, and an Iraqi intelligence official told Newsweek. Ukraine International Airlines Flight 7052, a Boeing 737, en route from Tehran to Kiev's Boryspil International Airport, stopped transmitting data Tuesday, just minutes after takeoff, and not long after Iran launched missiles at military bases housing U.S. and allied forces in neighboring Iraq. The aircraft is believed to have been struck by a Russia-built Tor M1 surface-to-air missile known to NATO as Gauntlet. The three officials, who are not authorized to speak publicly on the matter, told Newsweek. So again, three anonymous government officials, one Pentagon official, one senior U.S. intelligence official, and an Iraqi intelligence official talking to Newsweek. One Pentagon and one U.S. senior official told Newsweek that the Pentagon's assessment is that the incident was accidental. Iran's anti-aircraft systems were likely active following the country's missile attack, which came in response to the U.S. killing last week of Revolutionary Guard Commander Major General Qasem Soleimani. President Trump told reporters at the White House following the report, "Well, I have my suspicions. It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood and someone could have made a mistake." U.S. Central Command declined to comment on the matter when contacted by Newsweek. On board were 176 people. 82 were Iranian, 63 were Canadian, 11 were Ukrainian, 10 Swedish, 7 Afghans, and 3 German nationals. None of them survived the plane crash, whatever it may be, missile attack, what have you. They're all dead, unfortunately. So this story is escalating very quickly. As I said, it's going everywhere right now. We even have now confirmation from iHeartRadio.Canada. Ottawa believes U.S. intelligence on downed jetliner is credible, sources say. And then we also have this one. Justin Trudeau says evidence indicates Ukrainian plane was shot down by Iranian forces. Of course, Justin Trudeau is the Canadian Prime Minister, says that intelligence from multiple sources indicate that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. So, what else is there to the story, right? Nothing to see here. As you can see, it's trending on Twitter. Iran plane crash. Trump's talking about it. We're going to see where this goes. After yesterday, when Trump gave a speech basically saying he was not going to escalate things with Iran, that he actually believed Iran was de-escalating things, people, including myself, were kind of surprised that he wasn't actually stepping things up, that he said he believed there was going to be some way to work with Iran. Now, all of a sudden, we're being told that Iran may have shot down this civilian aircraft, and we don't know where it's going to go. This could lead to more calls for war. This could lead to more calls for sanctions, or just, Iran is really being demonized as the worst terrorist nation in the world, just like they have been since the days after 9/11, when George Bush called them part of the axis of evil. Now, I want you to pay attention, though, right here to this little line in the middle of the screen. Newsweek first reported that Iran hit the flight with an anti-aircraft missile, right? That was that article I just showed you guys a second ago. Iranian missile system shot down, reported at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Now, I want to go back over here to this interview I did with former Newsweek journalist Tarek Haddad, who is the journalist who quit Newsweek in the last few weeks. because he tried to report on the ongoing WikiLeaks leaks from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, showing that the alleged chlorine gas attack in Douma, Syria was a complete lie, and that lie led to Donald Trump launching 100 Tomahawk missiles. So as a journalist, Tarak tried to report on that and cover that, and instead was silenced by his editor, and he decided he needed to leave, and he couldn't stay because it was just too much to bear, and the truth was more important. So I want to play you a short clip of this interview. We're going to go right here to this section because some of you might not have seen it before. Unfortunately, this interview, it needs a lot more views. It hasn't been seen by many people. But just check this clip out real quick. To you?
In my particular newsroom, yes. I mean, I'm actually planning to write another piece about this, but it's maybe not particularly that surprising, considering there's another employee at Newsweek called Naveed Jamali, who is very openly says that he was previously a US spy. And that might not seem like a big problem to most people, but I would argue is that, of course that experience might come in handy, but the thing is that person is not trained as a journalist. Even though he does claim now to be a journalist on social media, I don't think it's fair to call him a journalist. And he very clearly has a conflict of interest. Journalists, their number one priority is to hold their governments to account. And it's also very obvious that he still maintains a very close relationship with the government, because what you'll notice is that at the time of al-Baghdadi's death, Newsweek was sort of celebrating that they had got the scoop, they had got the story that they were the first ones to report that. Now, if you look at that story, and throughout that week, there was a number of Newsweek exclusives where they've got a story that no other publication had got, even though before the New York Times or the Washington Post or whoever it is, they got these exclusive stories about the military and what they were doing in Syria. And then on all of those stories, you saw Naveed Jamali's name. Now, to get for a journalist like me, for example, to get that story would be extremely difficult, but obviously there is this relationship between the media and the government where information is fed that is useful to the narrative of, okay, we're going to we've killed Baghdadi, which I'm obviously not complaining about, but when it's in the military interests to have information out there, that will be fed to the media, and they'll think they've done.
All right, so that's the interview I was playing you right there. That's Tarak Haddad right there. For those who didn't really catch that, he's saying that in the Newsweek newsroom there is a former FBI agent, double agent named Naveed Jamali, who has in the past gotten exclusive stories that only Newsweek had, and they were obviously being fed to him by his quote-unquote former employees. And so we're going to go back over here to that Newsweek story that's reporting that Iranian missile system shot down the Ukrainian flight, and look at the very first name on this article, Naveed Jamali. He is the same guy that Tarak was just talking about, who is a former FBI double agent who has gotten exclusive stories and basically helped promote the government's agenda in the past. And if you go over here back to his Twitter, you can see right here Tarak says, "Wow, now that we're going to war, a former spy is going to be in charge of a mainstream publication." This is just 2 days ago, with absolutely no background in real journalism. Tell me if something is wrong with the media or not. And here he is, Naveed Jamali, on January 7th. Some personal news. I am an editor-at-large for Newsweek now. So Homeboy is now running Newsweek. He is the head journalist there, and Tarak is calling that out. And then just earlier today, Tarak says, "Friendly reminder to be careful of Newsweek stories supplied by unnamed sources with a byline from Naveed Jamali thrown in," which is exactly what we got here. A story from Naveed Jamali sourcing 3 anonymous government officials, and that's all the evidence. And then the story spreads elsewhere. But you saw here on Twitter, it says, "No, Newsweek first reported this." So it first reported by Newsweek, with the byline from a guy who we know worked for the U.S. government as an intelligence agency, then it's as an intelligence agent, and then is spread throughout the media, and now is being reported everywhere. And they're even here in the independent media. Look at this. You got Tim Pool, this guy with a huge reach, 558,000 subscribers. Iran shot down, in all caps, Ukrainian Airlines flight, probably by mistake, U.S. intelligence sources say. And Tim, I mean, this is just a horrible video. I've seen Tim do some good work, but he's literally just repeating this. Obviously, he hasn't done any investigation into who Navid Jamali is or Tarak Haddad is at all, so he's totally misinformed here, and he's just saying, oh, they quote government officials. This is good journalism. This is good journalism. No, Tim, it's anonymous sourcing from probably from government agents. And then we have videos circulating from that are out there circulating, claiming to be video of the plane being shot down by a missile. You know, I've seen some of the clips. Something explodes in the middle of the sky, so something did happen. But was it Iran? It's possible. It could have been Iran. Like I said, Iran was shooting missiles at the U.S. bases and nobody was harmed. Apparently, Iran told Iraq officials and U.S. officials so that nobody would harm, like if the whole thing was sort of a show maybe. Could they have done that and accidentally shot down a Ukrainian civilian airline? Yes, it's possible. But it's also very possible that this is a narrative being fed to us and that this might be the Iranian false flag that we have known was coming for years, that they need a reason to go into Iran. And this could definitely make it easier to convince the world to go into Iran and finally take out their leaders and install another puppet government and take all their resources if you convince the world that they shot down an airliner that killed 176 people. So again, Tarak Haddad, former Newsweek journalist, in my interview with him, called out this guy, Navid Jamali, as an FBI double agent. Now that guy is made editor-in-chief at Newsweek, and now he's running stories claiming to be, you know, the original source from 3 government agents. And now Donald Trump saying he believes it's true. Justin Trudeau of Canada is saying he believes it's true. And we just need to be skeptical, guys. That's why I wanted to do this. We need to be skeptical. We need to question all the bullshit they're feeding us and never just give in and just blindly accept what they're saying, like unfortunately some people like Tim Pool are doing, and that's really sad to see. But you heard it first here on the Conscious Resistance Network. Again, I invite you to go back and watch my interview with Tarak Haddad that you can see here. It's only got 1,300 views. It deserves a lot more than that. Please check that out. And for those who want to support my work and my future projects, please invest in the 5G Trojan Horse documentary, which will be out later this month. We have 3 days left in our crowdfunding campaign. We're trying to hit $2,000. We're at $1,383. Anybody can throw anything in there. It goes to pay the editors of this documentary as well as my new book, How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State. Any extra money will go into my pocket to keep me going, keep me able to do this. But if not, at the very least, we're trying to pay the editors. So please consider investing in my work. And until next time, guys, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.